Hey there, all you great race fans, and welcome to Canada. That is right, we are at Mosport International Raceway in Bowmanville, Ontario for round 11 of Season 3 of the Speed Racing Series presented by Middle Road Energy. It's the series' first ever race held outside the U.S., and we couldn't be thankful enough of our friendly northern neighbors who were glad to welcome us over and host this race in front of an eager crowd today. But now over to the top headlines. RJ Bishop still sits on top of the point standings, leading by 109 over Vince Freeze, but his record on road courses isn't normally good. But it's a new day, maybe he can turn around his luck this time. And Michigan winner Harrison Riley wants to score back-to-back wins, but obviously there are other strong contenders in the field that he'll have to go through as well. Anyway, the start of this race will be happening very shortly. What do you say? Let's give these Canadian fans a great first show. It sure is a lovely day to go road course racing here at this venue located just 45 minutes outside Toronto. And we're eager to see what this field of drivers can do at this great-looking track. Your pole sitter, Zachary Fitzwater, he had the most dominant car at the last road course race we had, and he's hoping to avoid some misfortune today. But here they all come to begin the second half of Season 3. There's the green flag, and it is go time here at Mosport. Down they all go through this very slow turn 5 section on the backside of the track. Fitzwater gets a good exit off of it. He gets on the gas, going through this little kink right here of turn 6. Behind him, though, here comes the lone Canadian driver in the race, Joseph Strigley. He's got plenty of people cheering him on in the grandstands today. He is a native of Ontario, and you can bet he's going to make it his mission to get the victory in front of the home crowd today. Going through turn 8, the sweeping right-hander, he's going to remain patient and stay behind Fitzy. Matter of fact, all 4 of his cars, 2, 3, 4, 5, behind that number 7 Dodge. Nothing will be done right there. Fitzwater will lead the first lap here at Mosport International Raceway as he leads the 4 JSR Chevys, who are in great position already. All in the top 5, looking to overtake Fitzwater and dethrone him right here. 6th place. How about Jesse Turner, who had a great qualifying effort in that 94 car in 6th? Behind him, another Ford driver of Luke Martin in 7th. Then you got Vince Freeze and RJ Bishop, top 2 on the points, 8th and 9th. And here's the 86 of Lane Sanders in 10th. Back up here to Fitzy. You know, this type of racing is his bread and butter, but don't forget Strigley. He was able to get the win at the Glen, thanks to Fitzwater blowing up, and Strigley was able to capitalize. But out of turn number 5, here comes James Ellison in the 61 into the fray. Ellison's been having some great road course performances as of late. He did get a top 5 finish at the Glen, and for a guy who wouldn't really consider road course racing to be his forte, thanks to him being on the Strigley team, he definitely has a better shot at doing well at these type of tracks. And Ellison is going to prevail over his boss and go to the runner-up position, but none of them being able to catch Fitzwater, who leads for a 2nd straight lap. Here's one underdog driver who's having a phenomenal start to his race, Kyle Rigger in that 10 car for ARC Racing. He qualified that Dodge in 20th, and he still is in the top 20, racing against Cody Lamas for 19th. Rigger was able to make it into the show by the skin of his teeth during the Go Home session. But fortunately, that is, I think, the highest that the 10 team has ever qualified for a race. And with him being right on the fringe of the top 35 in owners' points, he'll need any good luck that he can to turn his luck around starting today. Even though he is outside the top 20 now that the 81 of Christian Vargas has gotten by. Rigger having a fantastic start to the day. Hopefully he can hold off some of the strong contenders as long as he can. And behind him, here's one of the pre-race favorites, Trey Cordello in the number 1 car for Blue Racing, the runner-up at Watkins Glen to Joseph Strigley. Sadly, qualifying didn't go as well for him. He qualified 21st, and he resets to 23rd at the line that time by. But Cordero, he's got a bit of work to do in order to claw his way up into the top 10 and flex his muscles and show off his road course finesse. But we are only 4 laps in. He still has lots of time to get it done, as he's still trying to get into the top 20 as he goes around DeLello. Charles Sanford, the 16, has been making some good moves lately. He has gotten around his 3 teammates, and he has now jumped up from 5th to 2nd. And that 7 car is the only thing he has left in his way. But Fitzwater, he's been flawless this whole time. He's led every lap we've run. Going downhill. A lot of elevation changes this track has. This slow section right here. What can Sanford do? Here he goes to the inside of Fitzwater. Coming out of 5, and that was the break that he needed. Fitzwater will lose the lead for the first time today. And Sanford is potentially going to bring his teammate James Ellison along with him, and it looks like he's going to. Fitzy not in a good position right here. Not only has he lost the lead, he may lose second, but no, he's able to slide in front of the 61 right there. Oh, thankfully Ellison gave him some ground. You definitely don't want to hook bumpers at a place like there. All these other guys there behaving themselves okay. Lane Sanders going a bit wide through turn 10. Sakamoto, she's got to run to the inside of Strigley now to get up into 4th. But that 7 car has lost clutch of the top spot, and give it to Sanford now. Oh, never mind. Here comes Fitzwater saying, not if I can help it, Charles. He wants the lead back here on lap 6. And there's honestly very little that James Ellison can do in that scenario. I think Fitzwater is going to have the preferred line going through this pair of turns. There's the left-hander turn 9, and then the right-hander turn 10 onto the main straightaway. And just by a nose goes that 7 car to reclaim the top spot. And there's Sakamoto and Strigley looking on. But not all is lost. I mean, we're only on lap 7. The 16 and the 61. Matter of fact, all of the Joseph Strigley teammates, they got plenty of time to form up a game plan and make sure that 7 car gets kicked back as far as possible. Ellison is in a good spot here. Moving through the right-hander to turn 3. Up the hill, underneath the Continental Tire Bridge to turn 4. And you can just see that this track is just so unique, the way that these hills roll and the turns flow. Coming out of 5 again. Yep, Fitzwater, he has a weak exit again. Now here comes that orange 61 of James Ellison to go on by him. Quite a good pass right there by the Hoosier driver. James Ellison goes up into the lead, and you also saw Joseph Strigley get around Sakamoto. Vince Freeze in the 21, he's drawn into this battle too. They go down into turn number 5 again. Ellison did a good job making the pass the last time around, but no, he's the one who has a bad exit out of turn 5. Fitzwater capitalizes. And I feel like this is going to be a recurring theme. These leaders are just going to play this cat and mouse game. They're going to go back and forth, swapping the lead between each other. But that's a good thing, though. I mean, we want variety in this race. We want different leaders. We like seeing lead changes. And this is a great opening stint to this inaugural race here in Canada. You see Vince Freeze cracking into the top 5 ahead of Joseph Strigley. How about behind him? Lane Sanders up in 7th. Nice run by the Spa driver. Here's Noah Hart making his first appearance in the top 10. RJ Bishop still doing what he has to do to have a good point stand. There's Luke Martin coming home in 10th ahead of Scott Roush. Looking at the 86 of Lane Sanders, who's pretty much the Pied Piper of this long train of cars from 7th place on down. They're over 6 seconds behind the leaders, as there's 6th place Joseph Strigley right there. So the top 6 definitely have all their ducks in a row, as it's basically a frenzy for 7th place here. But Noah Hart and Luke Martin, they're trying to gain up on the 86. Maybe see if they can do something with him right here. Let's check out the helicopter view, as it's pretty hard to see through the trees. Here's Zane Davidson making a few good passes out of that turn 5 exit. Here they come onto turn number 8. Noah Hart, he's got to run. And it looks like he will do it. Hart, and that Valvoline Ford will shoot up into 7th. And there you see that trio of Fords, 7, 8, 9 over the Chevy of Zane Davidson in 10th. That's how they'll run coming across the line. Here's RJ Bishop in 11th. He's got his teammate Scott Roush behind him in 12th. There's Turner in 13th, who's fallen back a bit from his 7th place qualifying spot, but he's still running all right. Dylan Young, the winner out at Portland. He knows how to wheel his way around a road course too. He's in 14th, and then Logan Cloud in 15th. And then more forwards behind him, DJ Curtis, Christian Vargas, and Nick Breeding. 1 Martin car, 2 Spa cars. Here's Trey Corderlo, who has broken into the top 20. He's looking to get 18th away from Breeding. Still on a quest right there. And then the 2 PPR teammates of Aaron Jordan and Zachary DeLello. They'll look at the top 20 right here. What can Corderlo do? You can know that he'll have some sort of trick up his sleeve to get around Nick Breeding. Is he going to? Yes, he is. He's going to pounce to the inside of the 00 and take away P18. Hometown boy Joseph Strigley still running solidly in 5th, but you can see on your screen he just doesn't have the magic that his other 3 teammates have. He's slipping further back behind him. He's trying to defend that position away from Freeze. But that 16 is right on Fitzwater's tail. You also got Ellison and Sakamoto into the picture. Don't forget Ellison still winless in his career. And with him running as strong as he is, maybe that first win could finally come today. But the 16 of Sanford capitalizing again on Fitzwater's mistake out of turn 5. And it appears that'll be one of the prime passing zones of this track is down in that section. And even if you're on the inside like Ellison is through turn 8 and 9, you got a good chance at advancing your position that way. And Ellison, I believe, should have enough of an advantage to get by Fitzwater, and it looks like he will. Nothing changes in the battle between Strigley and Freeze. Here's Lane Sanders, who is back into 7th over Luke Martin and Noah Hart. A whole quartet of forwards as Jesse Turner's caught up to them also. But it's back to the point, again, for the Joseph Strigley Racing duo. And again, they are in an excellent position where they can strategize and put a plan together to possibly get a 1-2-3-4 finish. Wouldn't that be something if JSR were able to do it this afternoon? Rambo Racing hasn't done it. Martin Motorsports hasn't done it. Spa hasn't done it. And it'll definitely be a history-making feat for the ages if they can get it done, but still well over 35 laps in this race to be run. Oh, we got ourselves an incident. Jacob Beholtz and Skylar Taylor have just crashed into the tire barrier in turn 9. And straight to pit road they both go. A super unfortunate break for both those drivers. Just trying to have a decent day here at Mosport. And wow, that's surprising. We're actually not getting the caution for that. I guess the cleanup crew was able to clean up that incident quickly enough so we don't have to throw it. But we need to check out a replay of that. How did they end up in that position? Jacob Holtz was leading this battle for 28th right here over Brantley Gage and Skylar Taylor. But Taylor is going to make a costly mistake. She's going to drive too deep into the corner and tag the 03. And that's going to spell their doom as they each got a face full of tires down in turn 9. A tough way for Beholtz to be taken out of the race like that, as both of their days will come to an early end as they will finish 42nd and 43rd today. Up, look at this. James Ellison in the 61 is motioning his way onto pit road as Sanford chooses to stay on the track. Sakamoto's also coming down. Fitzwater. How about these guys? Yep, Noah Hart's making the indication. Lane Sanders, Jesse Turner. There's Roush, Vargas, Corderlo, and Robinson. They all choose to pit here on lap 17. So we are still moving along despite the incident between the 03 and the 71. But these guys come in for their first official stop of the day. Sanford's got a sizable lead, but is he going to give it up here and choose to pit? Yep, that's what he's going to do. Sanford pits from the lead on lap 18. He'll be getting 4 tires and fuel on that Chevy. Here comes Vince Freeze and Joseph Strigley doing the same. How about Bishop in the 38? Yep, he's making the indication as well to pit. Also Zayden Davidson, Luke Martin, Logan Cloud, Dylan Young, and everybody else. So it seems 18 laps is the most that these teams are willing to stretch their fuel mileage out to, as literally everyone else from Sanford on down is coming on in. And there is Sanford just about to wrap up his pit stop. Jackman drops the car onto the ground. Sanford pulls away. A good stop by him, but how about that orange 61 of James Ellison? His team must have given him a great pit stop on that car, and to the lead he goes. How about James Ellison and that 61 JSR team? A phenomenal job by that bunch. And he will be your new leader. Sanford recycles back to second. Sakamoto in third. Fourth place, side-by-side battle between Rambler teammates Zachary Fitzwater and Vince Freeze. Then you got Joseph Strigley up in the top 10 and 6th. Then you got Bishop, Hart, Davidson, and Sanders in the top 10. We'll go through everyone else on down here. Here's Logan Cloud, Jesse Turner, and Luke Martin. And another Ford of Christian Vargas. 4 straight Fords right there, 11th through 14th. Then you got Scott Roush, Dylan Young. You got this battle right here, Anthony McClure, Trey Cordero. He's made a good surge, potentially getting into the top 15 right here. He's also by the 85 of Major Robinson. Cordero looking to gain another position on Dylan Young. And right here, I believe the 12 of Aaron Jordan should be 20th when they get to the line again. Here's Nick Breeding, DJ Curtis, Mac Johnson, Lucas Catano, and Zachary DeLello. I think that should be 25th place right there. Then you got Brantley Gage, Aiden Smith, Cody Lamas, Kyle Rigger still having a good top 30 run, and then Sean Ard. And you see James Ellison tripped up the leaderboard on your screen right there. Anyway, here's Ricky Freeman Jr., first ever start that he is made for Fast Track Racing technically in the 23. Good to see them make the show. You got Harrison Riley, your Michigan winner. A pitiful performance by him so far. Down here in 32nd, I want to say. Here's Benedict Mirdo, doing really well. Shade Eves. Then you got Austin Rogers, the second Lake Effect car. Then you got Angel Gutierrez, Isaac Davis, Edward Ziemba, Roberto Crown Jr., and Saber Fox, I believe, should be shotgun in the race 41st, as Beholtz and Taylor are both out. The Ellison still shows the way, as Sakamoto is the new second-place driver. Issues for the one car of Trey Cordero. Something is seriously going awry on that Blue Racing Chevy. Look at how many cars are passing him as he comes to a stop at the base of turn 5. And could this warrant a caution flag? Yes, it will. Lights are flashing on top of the pace car. And what a disappointing situation this must be for Cordero. He made it up to 13th before this took place. As there goes James Ellison and the rest of the leaders to take the yellow flag on lap 22. I don't know if it's a tire failure, a suspension failure, whatever it is. But I know this team had high hopes for this race, but unfortunately you can likely rule him out of the running for the victory this afternoon. Before we get underway, Benedict Mirdo has issues now on the 44 Toyota. His engine is going away on that race car. Another unfortunate break by one of the smaller known drivers and teams. He was going to restart in 33rd. Unfortunately for him and crew, that'll no longer be the case. Meanwhile, Trey Cordero is back on the track, albeit he is one lap down now, so that'll be tough for him to come back from. Nevertheless, here's Ellison and Sakamoto on the front row looking to get us underway again, and wow, what a restart by the 66 as we are back to racing on lap 25. That 66 shot out like a rocket on that restart, to James Ellison's surprise. I think she may have caught him napping there, and that's what allowed her to pull right away almost instantly. Fitzwater also was going to capitalize. He's going to slide up into second. Ellison falls down to third. But he's got to shake off that frustration now. He's got to get back in a rhythm. Thankfully, he is still out of the top 5 with the rest of his teammates surrounding him. But the 16, he's going to get eager. No, that's a good move by Ellison right there, going down low, chopping off Sanford. And Ellison looking to take back what he lost, and that is the top position. As you see the remainder of the field going 2 by 2 up the hill onto this long Mario Andretti straightaway. Now onto the fastest section of the track, the entry to turn 8. Ellison, he has the inside position on Fitzwater, but not so much on Sakamoto. Don't forget, she is also a good road course racer in her own right. And to conclude the official first half of this race, Sakamoto's going to do it. Second half of round 11 has begun. How about Noah Hart up here into 5th? Behind the 3 JSR cars plus Zachary Fitzwater. Behind Hart, you got RJ Bishop. You got Joseph Strigley right here. Lane Sanders and Zayden Davidson side by side. Sanders is itching to get a good finish today after he lost his engine at Michigan and finished dead last. So at least for the time being, Sanders is doing exactly what he has to do to make sure that thing doesn't replicate for him again. Never mind, Ellison's back, and he's looking hungry. A great recovery effort by James Ellison. After letting the 66 jump ahead of him on that restart, it looks like Fitzwater is going to go with the Indiana driver. And yes, Ellison will go back to the point here at Mosport, as Charles Sanford's also in this fray, and it looks like Fitzwater will likely steal the runner-up position away from Sakamoto, and he will. Oh, we got trouble again. Brantley Gage, Austin Rogers, and Trey Corderlo are spinning around on the front straightaway. Angel Gutierrez in the 3-car onto pit road. And Trey Corderlo, his rough day at Mosport continues, and we actually don't have a caution for that. That's wild. Oh, as the 82 of Edward Ziemba is all wiggly on the grass. A multi-car spin on the front straightaway, but we are still going, surprisingly enough. And it appears Brantley Gage is going to be the catalyst for this incident happening on lap 27. He's going to tag Angel Gutierrez right there and spin him into pit road. Then he loses control and comes across the track right in front of Corderlo and Rogers, sending them all around. Thankfully, this happened towards the rear of the field. They were all able to drive away. Not necessarily what they wanted to have happen, but the officials are going to let us continue on. Meanwhile, we got another lead change taking place. Zachary Fitzwater wants to get a taste of P1 right here over Ellison. He's got that preferred line through the right-hander turn 8. And into turn 9, he is well clear of the 61 now. Charles Samper also in position to take the runner-up position from Ellison too. So Ellison is going to be losing 2 spots on this lap. Like I said earlier in the day, this is likely a theme that's going to be going on as long as this race goes forward, as long as all these contenders are up here. Fitzwater, Sanford, Ellison, Sakamoto, possibly Hart, even Zane Davidson too. They'll be flip-flopping like a stack of pancakes with how much they change the lead every so often. Oh, trouble for Anthony McClure. He goes sliding off the racetrack, and he's going to make hard impact with the wall in turn number 8. And that's where he's going to come to rest. A big hit for the 46 into the wall, and that is going to cause the caution to come out for the second time today on lap 30. That's what Anthony McClure and S3 Motorsports didn't want to have happen. That's now the second car for that team to get wrecked today at Mosport. The field will come back around to take the yellow flag, as we'll have to catch a replay of what just took place. So here is the 46 accelerating onto the back straightaway, and he's trying to go for 16th place underneath Mac Johnson and Dylan Young. And this is risky right here. They remain 3 wide all down the straightaway. And you can clearly see there's just no room in between them. And they end up coming together right there. And the 46 goes for a long slide off the track, through the stand, and into the wall, flush with the right side of that car. There was just very little that Mac Johnson could do in that scenario to keep from making contact. And sadly for S3 Motorsports, that's half of their fleet gone, as the 24 and 35 are the only 2 that still remain on the track. Well, this is an interesting thing to see. How about the 41 of Shane Sides, who was choosing to remain on the racetrack, as he will inherit the lead for the first time today at Mosport. He's the only guy to stay out here. That 41 team is definitely making quite a gamble, but nonetheless, they're going to do it and just see what happens. Meanwhile, we're at lap 32 now, and I believe the field might be on the very edge of being able to make it to the end on fuel. We'll have to see for sure if they can be able to do it or not, as Fitzwater gets off pit road first over Sakamoto, Sanford, Hart, and Ellison. Coming back around to get restarted here, and I do give props to Shane Sides and that 41 Railfan Motorsports team for at least trying something different, as they're getting a great amount of TV time getting to be the leader on this restart. But this will be a true test for the rookie out of Texas. Can he hang with Fitzwater and all these guys at the restart? We'll see if he can. Green flag is waving on lap 33. The 66 of Sakamoto behind him, trying to give him as much assistance as possible, but it's not going to be worthy enough to hang with Fitzwater. He'll lose the lead to that 7 car, and possibly even second place to Charles Samper. If Noah Hart can follow Samper, he might be able to get 3rd place from the 41 as well. Not too bad for Shane Sides. He's holding his own pretty good. Don't forget, his one noteworthy moment in the series was going through that scary flip that he had at round 8 at Dover. So I'm glad he can be in a more positive limelight this time. And out of turn 5, he's going to go neck and neck with Charles Sanford. Can he take the lead back from Fitzwater, maybe? He'll certainly give it a shot. The two Dodges race evenly with each other down the Mario Andretti straightaway. And check that out for that 41 Railfan Motorsports Dodge. He is going to get back in front of the 7. Great amount of power that he had down the straightaway to retake the lead again. And he should be good to lead this lap. Hey, wait a minute. He's actually signaling to pit road. Well, this is going to change plans dramatically. At least he got to taste the lead for a short while, but no, Sides is going to make his final pit stop of the afternoon right here. And I believe he will be good to go on fuel the rest of the way. Honestly, I don't think this is a bad call by these guys. At least he can go all out the rest of the race. We'll have to see if it ends up working out. He will lose time, though, as Fitzwater is going to reclaim the lead once again. JSR isn't the only team to have stuck together for most of this race. Here's 4 out of the 5 Spa cars that are displaying some unity right here. Lane Sanders, Major Robinson, Dylan Young, and Christian Vargas running 12th through 15th. Obviously, Sanders, the very first Speed Racing Series winner, itching to end over a 35 race-long winless streak, but he's knocking on the door of the top 10 right now. Robinson was able to get the win out at Charlotte. Young was able to win at Portland, and Vargas still hasn't been able to win it all yet. And oh, he's going to get turned by the 21 of Freeze. Off they go into the tire barrier in turn 9. Wow, and that is just an absolute shame for Christian Vargas and Vince Freeze getting wrecked out of the top 15 together. And to no one's surprise, yellow flag is going to wave again. And that is going to be 2 more race cars that are going to be going to the junk pile. Unfortunately, I don't think you can put any blame on anyone but Vince Freeze for this one. He's going to make a big-time error going too hard into turn number 9. Christian Vargas ended up being there. They make contact, and they eat the tire barrier in almost a carbon copy of the incident we saw between Skylar Taylor and Jacob Holtz. And Mosport is going to claim 2 more cars to be retirees from this event. Definitely not the kind of thing they wanted to happen today, as they will both go winless in the Speed Racing Series for another event. This caution was a big break for Trey Cordero right here. He does get the courtesy pass and will get to race with the rest of the lead lap cars. And also Shane Sides with that off-sequence pit strategy. He's back up in the mix with the rest of the competitors, although he will have a long way to climb up. But lost in the midst of this was the fact that Sakamoto made the pass on Fitzwater before the caution, so she will be the unofficial race leader. We'll have 13 laps to go as Fitzwater's going to shoot away with the lead as the green flag flies again. I don't really know if Sakamoto was napping on that restart or if just the outside line is the better place to be on these restarts. But that 7 car was able to get a great amount of gain on her as they came across the line. Noah Hart in the 18, he's going to zoom up into 2nd place. Great charge upward by him. Sakamoto loses 2 positions just like that and is now in 3rd. Here comes Zayden Davidson in the 35, also up here making some noise. But he's not really in a good position heading down here to turn number 5. And yes, Sakamoto will get the inside. She'll get an advantage on Noah Hart right here. How about Fitzwater? He didn't really get a strong exit off turn 5, as the 66 will have enough room underneath to make a charge for the lead again. Noah Hart looking back here. Davidson, who came close to winning Watkins Glen himself. He was a lap and a half away from victory out there. He's got a great shot at the top 5 run today, but the 7 is going to give way, and to the lead again goes that 66 Chevy. How about Noah Hart? Looks like he will have enough room to slide up into 2nd. Sakamoto, even though she was technically the leader on the restart, she officially claims it back now. Fitzwater down to 3rd. Davidson. This would be a great form of medicine for S3 Motorsports as 2 of their cars are wrecked. Davidson's in the top 5. How about Harrison Riley? There he is. He crossed the line in 14th, running behind Dylan Young. But Davidson, one of the 2 Australians in the race following Zachary Fitzwater. I mean, you still can't count Fitzwater technically out yet. Of course, he desperately wants to get redemption from Watkins Glen. He had the winning car and led half the race before he blew his engine from the lead. He definitely doesn't want to replicate a thing like that. But again, another bad exit off of turn 5 by Fitzwater, which is going to make way for James Ellison to maybe grab another position. Ellison's also up into the fight too. But while the 7 and the 61 remain side by side, it's going to allow the 18 of the 66 to sail away. Check out how far ahead they are. And these guys trying to fight it out for third. They can't really decide who wants to lead and who wants to follow. But Ellison is going to get ahead of him as the 18 and the 66 are long gone. Getting word that we actually just had an incident occur on that lap, and it's going to revolve around Aiden Smith in the 89 Ford. He's going to end up going wide out of turn 5. Edward Ziemba gets underneath them and gets into him, and he doesn't lay off. And Smith is going to nose into the wall at corner exit, and Ziemba's teammate Lucas Catano was also collected in that mess. An unfortunate event to happen to both of the Red Bull Toyotas, and especially Aiden Smith. I hope he can still continue on to the end of this race despite that nose damage. Hopefully he can, but his car will definitely be more bruised from here on out. No yellow flag needed for that incident. Anyway, up here, now it's Noah Hart's job to reel in that 66 for the lead the best way he can, as he's not going to get a threat from James Ellison at all. He should be safe to make a move from here. But the sophomore driver out of Georgia, who has one career win that came at Richmond last season, and you see he's going to get a nice exit out of 5. He's going to reel in towards the bumper of Sakamoto. Here he comes down to the inside. Thankfully, she's going to be gracious enough to give him that lane. And it's looking more and more possible that these two drivers will be at least the main fighters for now for this win today. The first ever event we have run outside the U.S. As you see, the 7 and the 61 still haven't figured out who's going to hold the third position. Zayden Davidson in 5th right there. But out of the final turn, Noah Hart is clear, and we have officially reached 10 laps to go here in Canada. The 18 is by, and how about that if he's going to get back into victory lane today? He's got a good shot at it, but Sakamoto, she's still in the hunt too. She's not going to make it easy for him. Hang on, everybody. We got a new player in town, and his name is Lane Sanders. That 86 car has risen up rapidly into the top 5, and here he is attacking James Ellison for 4th. And I believe coming out of turn 10, he will get it. How about Lane Sanders and the performance that he's putting on within the final 10 laps? He does nose ahead of the 61 right there to take that position. Zayden Davidson lurking on behind this battle. Now he goes to the inside of Ellison. Heading out of turn number 1, check out behind him. Aaron Jordan up here in the 12 car. The 94 of Turner, 7th and 8th. Great run by these guys right here. Behind them, Charles Samper in 9th. And there's RJ Bishop, his point rival, in 10th. Samper did fall down to 3rd after Michigan in the standings, but he's still over 100 points behind Bishop, so this is exactly what Bishop needs. He needs to keep the 16 car within reach and not let him get too far ahead, or maybe he can use this great passing opportunity in turn number 5. Can he do anything with Samper? Aaron Jordan's looking to attack. He'll get the 35 of Zayden Davidson to get up into 6th. And it appears that the 38 did lose ground. Dylan Young is going to gain a position there, and he will crack the top 10. Look at this. Sanders isn't done yet. Here he comes, shooting to the inside of Fitzwater down the Mario Andretti straightaway. Going into turn 8, can he possibly take 3rd place from the Aussie, maybe? I tell you, people, that 86 Ford has sprung to life in this late green flag run, and he is going to go up into the podium. Check that out for Lane Sanders, who easily has the chance to get his best ever finish since his Season 1 win at Daytona. And the scoring resets right there. He's 4.25 seconds back. A win isn't out of the cards just yet, but he's got a lot of time to make up on the 18 and the 66. And how about this for the top 5 position? Aaron Jordan is going to steal it from James Ellison. Great run by the rookie out of South Carolina. He did grab a strong 6th place finish at the Glen, and he's looking to better that finish today if he can just keep hanging on. And how about Jesse Turner looking to attack the 61 also? A fantastic run by the Western New York driver, whose home was on the southern side of Lake Ontario. We're on the northern side of it. How about that if he can get his first top 10 run of the year? You can tell that 61 of Ellison definitely doesn't have the magic it once had at the start of this race, as he's barely hanging on for 6th place over Aaron Jordan. Meanwhile, here goes Fitzwater trying to retake 3rd away from Sanders. And you also saw Charles Sanford and also Dylan Young. They're making their way past the 35 of Zayden Davidson, who's also falling back. RJ Bishop in the 38, also looking to capitalize. And whoa, easy there, RJ. Don't get into him. You definitely don't want to be face first into the barriers this far in the race. But he is going to nose ahead of the 35, Zayden Davidson, outside of the top 10 now. But a lot of fantastic battles within this front half of the field. But we still have over 6 laps to go. Anything can happen. And would you have a look at this? We got another crash down in turn 8. 3 cars off the track. Roberto Crown Jr., Isaac Davis, and Shade Eves. Oh, and these guys are getting all loose in the turn, trying to avoid him. The 04 of Davis gets going, but the 47 is stuck. He is stationary. He can't move. Is this going to trigger a yellow flag to come out? Yes, it will. Caution is out. We've still got a contest on our hands, everybody. Don't you go away just yet. But Sakamoto, Hart, and the other leaders will take the yellow flag with just 5 laps to go. And a 3-car accident down in turn 8 is going to put a whole new twist to the end of this race now. Sucks that it happened to these 3 guys. They were well in the hunt for a top 30 finish. Who's going to make the mistake right here? Oh, it's going to be the 47 who touches the 04. And oh, the 4-car takes a good crunch into the wall. And the 04 just squished him in between it. A very hard lick for Roberto Crown Jr. And we'll definitely have to get a second look at that one to analyze it better. So you see these guys make their way over the crest to go into turn 8. And the 47 is going to make an early right-hand turn right there, but he wasn't fully clear of the 04. He gets into Davis, into Crown, and poor Roberto Crown Jr. He had nothing to do with the start of this, yet he's going to take the worst hit out of these 3 guys. And just watch that 4-car get squished in between the wall and the 04 right there. Gee whiz, he even got some air a little bit on the left side of that Chevy. Fortunately, Roberto Crown Jr. did climb out of that number 4 car, although he did look a little bit woozy. That was a tough lick for sure. He hit the wall with his left side, and the 04 came in and slammed him on his right. As you see the 47 and the 04 trying to get out of the sand trap. And right there, he ends up getting towed away from the scene. So, sucks for him to have his car end up in a heap with 5 laps to go. And hopefully that Ford team can rebound well when we go to the next track at Chicagoland. But no more time to waste. Let's take people down to the final restart of the day right now. So, what do you folks say? We end this race with a green-white checkered, eh? I got to tell you right now, if you folks recall how the first ever Speed Phenom Series race ended and the great finish they had, I feel like we're going to be cooking up something just as good here. Congrats to Griffin Leopold McDermott on becoming the first ever Speed Phenom Series winner. Anyway, we got a victory to decide. I think if you're in these first 3 rows, you got the best chance at it. Sakamoto and Hart on the front row, and it is green-white checkered time here at Mosport. 2 laps to go. The 18 did get the edge over her at the line, but Sakamoto, in polite Canadian fashion, said, "No, thank you, sir. This is my race to win now." And there is Noah Hart. He basically has to engage in a war on 2 fronts here. He's got to chase down Sakamoto ahead of her while defend his position from Zachary Fitzwater behind him. For 4th place, Turner and Aaron Jordan side by side. Heading down into turn number 5, one of the key passing zones throughout the day. What can Sakamoto do? Can Noah Hart capitalize? No, but Fitzwater's going to. He's going to get to the inside of Hart. Could he possibly get a 2 for 1 as they zoom up onto the straightaway? He's getting help from Jesse Turner behind him in the 94. And look at how much of a gap the top 4 have over 5th place Zayden Davidson, who's now gotten by the 12 car. This is going to be real entertaining. Fitzwater trying to find any advantage he can to get ahead of the 66. Are the rest of these guys good back here? Yep, it appears that they are. It is going to be a 4-car fight for the race win here north of the border. White flag is waving. We are on the last lap. Fitzwater has the lead for now. Will he be able to keep it? Fitzwater trying to send it in deep, sailing down the hill in turn 2, trying to build up as much of a cushion as he can. And check out Turner in the 94 behind him, giving Sakamoto a challenge for second. That's got to feel awesome for him and his team, potentially earning a top 5 finish today. But of course, Fitzy is an expert at this type of racing, and he's got to drive as defensively as he can. Down into turn 5 for the last time. He's got to get through this section cleanly. Oh, but he slips up high. He messes up the corner exit, and the 94 is there. Turner in the U.S. Air Force ride powers by the 7 with just half a lap to go. Can you believe your eyes right now? Jesse Turner solidly out front as Fitzwater falls into the hands of Sakamoto. This is unreal. Jesse Turner and Lake Effect Autosport are only a couple turns away from accomplishing their long-time goal. Prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, to see a new face in victory lane as Sakamoto's pitting. But never mind that. Jesse Turner will come through and win the first series race in Canada and the first win of his career. Fantastic. The upset win of the season, at least for now. Jesse Turner, in his 38th start, is going to taste victory at last here in the Speed Racing Series presented by Middle Road Energy. Both him and that whole Lake Effect Autosport team have been working to reach this moment ever since the first season. And they have finally done it, as he will take the proud drive into victory lane with his Ford Fusion. And heck, I bet you he'll want to take a cool sip of Blueberry Blasta in victory lane, and his team is going to spray it all over that blue car of his. But what an absolutely perfect execution on that last lap by Turner. He was able to catch Fitzwater at a vulnerable spot at the exit of turn 5, which, in Fitzy's shoes, it sucks that he has to lose it like this. But hey, even the best in the business make mistakes. But that was all Turner needed to get to the inside of him, get a good launch off the corner, and speed away to the finish line first. And what's wild is, in a race where it was mostly controlled by JSR, Rambler Racing, and Martin Motorsports, the 3 Goliath teams of the series, at the end of the day, the underdogs pull through. Lake Effect Autosport is the team that shines this time, as Turner pulls around to the front stretch again to hear all the cheers from the crowd, as there's Trey Cordero sitting in his pit stall with a bunch of damage. Something must have happened to him on that last lap. I don't believe he was able to finish this one. He has had a rough outing here for sure. Anyway, for Turner and that 94 team, or just the 43 team as well, if you include Austin Rogers, when they make the 2-hour drive back over the border to Buffalo, New York, they are going to party like no party they've ever thrown before. They will definitely enjoy this jubilant moment together, as they've accomplished something that they've set out since the very first season to do. And yes, we did have an incident on the last lap involving that one car. He was in 25th at the time, but it's going to be taken away from him in a matter of seconds. You see, exiting the corner, Nick Breeding gets underneath him, and the 00 is going to turn the one car into the wall, into the air even. A very hard crash for Trey Cordero, as Saber Fox and Isaac Davis also got a piece of it. A shame that that happened to those guys with just half a lap to go, as Trey Cordero is going to have one more planned start this season at Road America a few rounds from now. But him and that Blue Racing squad are definitely going to have a frustrating exit when they leave this track. Real quickly, we'll take you folks through the top 10 finishers of this 11th round of the season. Jesse Turner leads just the final lap en route to capturing his first series win. Zachary Fitzwater couldn't quite get his second career road course win today. He'll settle for the runner-up spot. Noah Hart wraps up the podium in third. Yoshiko Sakamoto, despite pulling onto pit road at the last second, still has enough to take fourth. And Lane Sanders finally nabs his first top 5 finish of the season in 5th place. 6th on down looks like this. Aaron Jordan, Zayden Davidson, Scott Roush, Joseph Shrigley on his home turf comes home in 9th, and RJ Bishop, the points leader, will remain that way as he gets a 10th place finish. Anyway, you guys, that's going to conclude our time here at Mosport. What a thrilling inaugural weekend here for both the SRS and the SPS. And if you didn't think that was fun, I truly feel sorry for you. For round number 12, we'll be going back to the States to race at Chicagoland Speedway in Illinois. Can't wait to hopefully put on a good show for you out there. Here come your race results and your point standings following round 11. One more congrats to Jesse Turner, victorious for the first time here in Canada.